Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a horror film, TITANE. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. A stubborn little girl named Alexia keeps bugging her father during their drive. To continue annoying her father, she removes her seatbelt that makes her father turn around to attach it. The father then loses sight of the road that causes their car to crash accidentally. After that, it appears that the car accident causes a severe head injury to Alexia. This causes the doctors to put titanium plates on her head. As they walk out of the hospital, Alexia passionately embraces their car that almost killed her in the accident. Several years later, Alexia is a grown-up who works as a sexy dancer at a car show. Her scar from the accident is still apparent. As she walks towards the car show, she passes through sexy showgirls dancing around the fancy cars, with men enjoying the show. When it is her turn to dance, she performs a seductive dance around a seemingly burning fancy car. This makes men flock around to watch her. After the dance, her fans come to ask for an autograph. She then just coldly gives them an autograph. After that, she takes a bath together with her coworkers. In the shower, her coworker, called Beauty, seems to be flirting with her. As Alexia is about to go home, an obsessed man comes to follow her, asking for an autograph. The man then forcibly kisses her. This makes her kiss the man back, while slowly getting her hairpin. As the man enjoys the tongue massage moment, she fatally stabs him in the ears, using the hairpin that pierces through his brain. After that, she drags his dead body inside the car. She notices the filthy drool at her neck, so she comes back to the shower to clean it off. She hears a loud banging from the showroom as she is taking a bath. She then walks out of the bathroom, naked, to check it. As she walks towards the showroom, she sees the fancy car with its lights turned on. She comes to embrace it passionately. Shortly after, as she enters the car, it starts shaking violently, more violent than any human game. Apparently, she is pleasuring herself inside the car, while having herself tied up. It seems that she has a fetish for cars. The following day, she wakes up at her home, and proceeds to eat breakfast. It appears that she still lives with her parents at home, who greatly care about her, but she appears to be distant from them. Later at night, she comes to have a pleasurable moment with Beauty, who is greatly attracted to her. She abruptly walks out of the moment, which leaves Beauty unsatisfied. It turns out that she feels nauseous. After she vomits, she notices that her belly is getting bigger. She also finds car grease coming out of her smelly oysters. It reveals that she is pregnant. She's shocked and tries to abort the baby using her hairpin. She tries her best to endure the excruciating pain, but she fails to abort the baby in the end. Later, she comes back to continue having a pleasurable moment with Beauty. In the midst of the moment, she suddenly feels the urge to murder Beauty. So she grabs her hairpin and instantly stabs Beauty in the face. Beauty tries to fight back, but Alexia is able to deliver a fatal blow that finally leads to Beauty's death. Suddenly, a man walks out of the staircase. To avoid having a witness for her murder, she also proceeds to murder the man using the crowbar. To end the man's life, she forcibly puts the stool legs inside the man's throat. A woman who walks down also witnesses the murder scene. As Alexia comes upstairs to chase the woman, a fluffy man walks out. She does not have a choice, but to also murder the fluffy man using the crowbar. As Alexia is busy dealing with the fluffy man, the woman then quickly grabs this chance to escape out of there. After committing multiple murders, Alexia comes home to burn her bloody clothes, but it turns out that she is also planning to burn the entire house, since she lets the fire spread. She then comes to her parents' room, and also locks them there. It appears that she plans to let them burn with the house. She then immediately leaves her burning home. As she walks along the streets, she sees policemen roaming around. After knowing that she is wanted for the murder case, she immediately hides her face from the policemen. Suddenly, she stumbles across a poster that shows a boy named Adrian, who went missing 10 years ago. This gives her an idea to present herself as the missing Adrian. She then comes to the bathroom to cut her hair. To hide her femininity, she tightly covers her body with a bandage that flattens out her breast and her growing belly. And to completely change her appearance, she proceeds to beat her face until it gets disfigured. After that, she comes to the police station to present herself as Adrian. She pretends to be highly traumatized, so no one will force her to speak. Adrian's father, called Captain, who is a chief firefighter, comes to pick her up. The police officer advises Captain to DNA test her to confirm her identity. But he refuses to do so, thinking he can immediately recognize his own son. As Captain takes a look at her, he immediately feels the emotion, as he recognizes her as Adrian. So Captain takes her home, believing that she is Adrian. Along the way, Captain's tears suddenly fall as he asks why Alexia cannot speak. This makes Alexia run out of the car. Captain thinks that Alexia runs out because of her trauma. So Captain assures her that he will do anything to protect her. At Captain's home, Alexia proceeds on staying in Adrian's room. When she is about to sleep, she finally removes the tight cover around her body. But Captain almost sees her naked body as he suddenly comes in to check on her. Luckily, she is able to immediately cover her body. It turns out that Captain frequently uses steroids to keep his strength, since his body is slowly deteriorating due to his old age. The steroids then allow him to continue functioning in his job as a firefighter. The following day, Captain makes her wear firefighter clothes, as he will introduce her to his job. He also tries to cut her hair, but she refuses due to the pain coming from her head injury. Later, he finally introduces her as his own son at the station. The firefighter then secretly mocks her because of her weird looks. Captain notices that they are laughing around at her. So he angrily reminds them that they need to respect her because she is Captain's son. After that, Captain conducts a fire simulation drill with one of the firefighters, named Mr. Angry. In the fire drill, he sees an image of a burning child, which suddenly stuns him. Mr. Angry then ends the simulation, as he sees Captain staring to nowhere. After his work, Captain comes to have dinner with her at their home. He is frustrated that she cannot speak, so he keeps bugging her about it. She then abruptly leaves, but she finds the door locked. At this moment, she just decides to murder the annoying Captain. But she stops when she sees him joyfully dancing around, trying to bond with her. They then dance around together. Shortly after, the joyful dance turns into a fight, as Captain tries to provoke her. She then pushes him and tries to stab him with a hairpin. But Captain is able to stop her. He then mocks her for using a hairpin in a fight, and tells her to fight like a real man. At this moment, Captain asks her why she always wants to leave, despite being at home. Captain then decides to let her leave. So she walks out of there, leaving the sad Captain in a state of loneliness. After that, Captain proceeds on intaking steroids again. This time, he passes out due to the overdosage. Later, Alexia comes back to Captain's home to find her hairpin, which she accidentally left there. She then tries to murder Captain, as she sees him lying in the bathroom. But her heart softens as she notices his pitiful condition. This forces her to just stay to take care of Captain. She decides to act as his son. So for the first time, she speaks with him. The following day, she takes a look at Adrian's memories, so she can act like him perfectly. She then wears a yellow dress, as she sees Adrian wearing it during his childhood. Captain then sees her wearing it. This makes Captain so happy, thinking that his son is finally back. After that, Captain brings her to his work. There, they need to respond to an emergency situation, where a drug addict passes out from a drug overdose. Captain and Mr. Angry try to revive the dying drug addict, while Alexia comforts the crying grandma. Suddenly, grandma passes out. Captain then tells her to give CPR to the grandma, despite her being a newbie. He instructs her on the right steps to do CPR, but she fails to revive the grandma, which leads to grandma's death. To remove any guilt from her, Captain gives her a loving hug. Later, as they are driving towards the station, Mr. Angry recognizes Alexia as the wanted murderer, as he sees a photo of her on his phone. He then asks her where she comes from, but she just gives him a sarcastic smile. Later, Mr. Angry confronts Captain at the work party. Mr. Angry tries to reveal Alexia's real identity, but Captain tells him to shut up and to never talk about her. It seems like Captain already knows Alexia's identity. But he does not want to confront the painful truth, so he rather chooses to live on his delusion that Alexia is his own son. The following day, Adrian's mother comes to visit their home, as it was reported that their son was finally found. But the mother immediately senses that she is not Adrian. As they are talking together, Alexia abruptly leaves and goes to the room. Inside, she removes her tight body wrap, as she greatly suffers from itchiness and pain. She keeps scratching, until her body is full of scars. Her womb also breaks out soon, where there is a metal that protects her womb. Meanwhile, the car grease keeps coming out of her breast. As she greatly suffers from excruciating pain from her pregnancy, the mother suddenly barges into the room and sees her gruesome condition. At this moment, the mother confirms that she is not their son. But she just decides to keep it a secret, because Captain needs someone to take care of him. The mother then just tells her to take care of Captain. In the next scene, Captain and Mr. Angry respond to the forest fire together. There, Mr. Angry keeps bugging Captain about Alexia's real identity. Captain then decides to secretly murder him. Captain orders him to hold the gas tank during their operation. Shortly after, the gas tank explodes, leading to Mr. Angry's death. After that, Captain finally witnesses Alexia's naked body in the bathroom, which confirms that she is not his son. But Captain still accepts her, as long as she still remains as his own son. Captain assures her that he will fully embrace her true identity. Later, Alexia joins the firefighters' party in the station. She is happily dancing around the muscular firefighters. Suddenly, the firefighters carry her towards the center stage. At this point, the firefighters are expecting her to perform a masculine dance, but she performs a feminine dance that surprises the firefighters a lot. Their faces show disgust as she sexy dances in front of them. Captain also sees it and walks out in shame. Captain then proceeds to his room to drink alcohol. He tries to burn himself, but he suddenly stops it when he feels the pain. Meanwhile, Alexia suffers from excruciating pain because of her pregnancy. She then slowly crawls her way towards their home. As she arrives there, she comes to Captain's room to seek comfort. She starts kissing Captain, but he immediately refuses as he sees her as his own son. Suddenly, she starts vomiting car grease, which is a sign that she is about to give birth. Captain then comes back to help her give birth. As she forcibly pushes the baby, her womb reveals its metallic protection. Meanwhile, Captain is in tears as he finally sees the newly born fat baby. After giving birth, Alexia suddenly passes out. Captain tries to revive her, but she still dies in the end. Captain then proceeds to hold the newly born fat baby. The greasy child is filled with grease, while it appears to be having a metallic spine and skull. In the end, Captain fully embraces the child, while repeatedly saying that he is there for the God-sent child. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.